COVID-19 can have lingering effects on your heart months after you get sick. That is according to a study published earlier this month in JAMA. In today's Ones for Wellness, we take a look at what doctors have learned and what you need to watch out for.
We know from cardiac MRIs, too, that there are subclinical changes in the heart muscle.
It's an issue Dr. James Hurd at Baylor Scott & White All Saints Medical Center is familiar with.
We did a study here at Baylor Scott & White All Saints with cardiac MRIs on athletes from TCU that showed changes in the heart.
And a new study published in JAMA looked at Fitbit data for those who tested positive for COVID and those who had other respiratory illnesses. Researchers found it took longer for COVID positive participants to get back to their baseline resting heart rate, on average about 79 days. Those who were COVID positive also took longer to return to their typical sleep and activity levels.
Do you see that with other respiratory illnesses, or is this something unique to COVID?
You know, I personally haven't seen it, but we do know that you can get a viral cardiomyopathy, which is a condition where the heart muscle, after being exposed to a virus or to the immune response to the virus, can have damage and actually go into heart failure from viruses. So it's not the first time that we've seen something like this happen, but I don't think most of the viruses that we've dealt with in the past, be it the influenza for the flu or RSV, we've seen as widespread cardiac kind of mild changes like this.
Dr. Hurd says everyone's resting heart rate is different. There's no one size fits all, but there are some signs and symptoms to be aware of.
Everybody occasionally has a heart palpitation, like you said. But if all of a sudden the frequency goes up, the runs of heart palpitations, not just once or twice, if you feel it more, if you're symptomatic, definitely something to call your physician. They can get you in, they can do an EKG. They can maybe put you on what's called a Holter monitor, which follows EKG type changes over time, or an event monitor over even longer periods of time. So there are ways to kind of look and to see what's going on.
The researchers noted the results could indicate various levels of autonomic nervous system dysfunction or potentially ongoing inflammation.
I think you should worry about it. Worrying about it's not going to help. But I think it's another reason not to blow off COVID just because maybe a friend had it and they just felt bad for a couple of days, because there can be long hauler syndromes, there can be cardiac dysfunction, there can be brain dysfunction. Some people still haven't gotten their smell back, their taste back. So there are some things that can happen, you know, that outlive the virus being in there alone.
As the study's researchers pointed out, the data suggests early symptoms and a larger resting heart rate response to a COVID infection may be associated with the length of recovery, but more studies are still needed on that.